What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Singing the Tea. I'm your host, Dustin, singer, actor Lewis. You already know, sometimes I sing, sometimes I give you all of the reality TV tea, but it's definitely what you want. It's absolutely what you need. And child, listen, what you need to do is like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell button so when I do drop new content, you will be the first to know. And we can grow our community over here. Share with a family member, share with a friend, share with the person over there next to you in the cubicle, child, so we can grow our community. Let me tell y'all something. Before we get into this, I just watched a little clip of Funkydineva show. You know, honestly, prayers out to him, you know, with his diagnosis that he has. But the child, the tea that he just spilled about Tamar, ooh! Okay, but we're gonna get into this. We're gonna focus on this here. But child, that's got me just, oh my God. Make sure you go over there and check that out because it's crazy. I was not expecting that at all. But let me talk about what we here for. Y'all, we finna dive into the Real Housewives of Potomac, episode 9. Leak What You Speak. That's what it was called. Great episode. The ladies of Real Housewives of Potomac have been doing the doggone thing. And adding Monique to it was nothing but just the icing on the cake. Baby, this season of Real Housewives of Potomac is everything. So the episode opens up with Kay, you know, she just trying to throw some shade at Stacey. You know, she's saying, you know, she wouldn't trust Stacey around her husband. And Stacey lets it be known, baby, you don't have one, boo. Let me tell y'all something. The art form, the way that Stacey can get Kay together so effortlessly, so classily. Baby, when I tell you, Stacey was put on this earth to get Kay together. Kay, when I tell you, baby, Stacey is your ops, and I'm here for every ounce of it. You can feel how you want to feel about Stacey. Stacey gets Kay together so good, and it is, ooh, baby, when I tell you, it is amazing. It is as sweet as St. Lucia. It is everything, girl. I live for it every time. Because, Kay, the thing that Kay, you have the eye, but you are definitely missing the tea because, girl, you ain't got it. You are a beautiful girl, and they can never take it from you. But when it comes to the Stacey mess, you just need to sit on the sideline, and you need to stop coming for the lady because it's getting ridiculous at this point, how she keeps eating you up. And we're going to talk about it again. So, you know, everybody's going back and forth with the whole situation of, like, did Stacey tell Chris about what happened, what Monique said, and, like, it was misinformed, or did she not? So, Charisse is there, and she's like, you know what, I'll call Chris. So, Charisse calls Chris, and pretty much, Chris is just like, nah, like, he doesn't understand what's happening. He don't know why he getting a call. He's like, I don't know what's happening. So, he didn't say no. He kind of did say no. You know, he was just like, yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about. That's kind of how he said it there. So I don't think that, I don't know. I don't know if Stacey said anything. I don't know. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. And I want to get y'all's opinion on that for sure. But essentially, none of the ladies, for the most part, believe Stacey when it comes to if she told Chris or not. And Stacey's like this, look, she said, regardless, y'all gonna believe what y'all gonna believe. Y'all are not gonna trust me. Y'all are committed to not liking me. And I'm starting to feel for Stacey a little bit in that realm. Like, don't get me wrong, Stacey she's a fibber. She'll tell you some stories and fantasies and fallacies, but you know what? She is a lady and she is really funny. She's a sweet girl. So we gotta go a little easy on Miss Stacey. So we're gonna show her some grace, I guess. But I'm gonna say it again. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about Stacey, baby. She can take a lick and keep on ticking, baby. Still, she rise. Still, Miss Stacey rise because Stacey is definitely gonna be the girl that is baby. Water off a duck's back. Stacey is not letting y'all keep her down. So you know, Stacey's kind of mixing and mingling. And we see Giselle pull Wendy aside and she was like, hey girl, listen. So I had a conversation with Angel and she got some smoke for you, Wendy. So what you want to do? And they were like, you know what, bring her over. Let's have a conversation. She want to talk. Let's talk. So Angel walks up and, you know, they're having a conversation. So Angel tells Wendy, like, look, I don't feel like you treat me well. And she's letting Wendy know, I don't feel like you treat me well. And Angel, this whole conversation, this whole situation gets really weird for me because I don't get what your true issue is with Wendy. You saying like, you know, she is essentially, Wendy can be nice nasty. I think we talked about that here before. Wendy can be nice nasty. Cool. But at the end of the day, it's not that deep. And you feel like she's being passive aggressive. She's trying to sun you. All of those good feelings. I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, she's done nothing to you, baby. And that's the thing that you have to understand. In this reality TV game, the lady ain't did nothing to you. So that's one. Two, Angel, you saying, hey, you didn't speak to me at the airport because that came up. Did you speak? And Wendy was like, but did you speak to me? Well, no, because you didn't speak to me. So neither one of y'all spoke. So if y'all didn't speak to each other, then what is she to do? Now, I get it. Maybe you were there first and she walked into the space that you was in. Could Wendy have spoke? Absolutely. But y'all's interactions haven't been that great. So her not speaking to you was not just so far-fetched. Y'all had some heated exchanges, honestly, right before that. So I can understand her not wanting to speak to you. But it truly feels like Wendy doesn't have an issue with you and you have one with her. So I do feel like there is a one-sided beef there, Angel. So you're going to have to own that, boo. You're going to have to own that a little bit. So, you know, they start talking about the catfish situation because Ashley was like, listen, she brought up the catfish situation. She feels like you said it first. And then everybody's kind of like, well, not everybody. Stacey and Wendy are like, girl, I didn't say the catfish situation. Gizelle said that. So Kay interjects herself because she's like, no, Wendy said that. Wendy said that. And Gizelle is right on the side of Kay. And she says, no, I said that. Gizelle in that moment admitted that she's the one that said the catfish comment. And Wendy says, so she just said that she said that, yet you still have an issue with me. Why is that, Angel? Well, me and her worked it out. Angel, you missing the point, baby. If she said it, Wendy did not, what is your issue with Wendy? Regardless if you worked it out with Gizelle or not. Gizelle is saying that she's the one that said it. What's your true issue with Wendy? And I feel like, Angel, you truly, when it comes to this situation, you are falling flat, girl. It really feels like you have attached yourself to the drama that Kay has for some reason. And you know what? Maybe Kay felt like she was in this game alone. And maybe she just needed somebody, you know, she just needed a friend. She needed an ally. I can understand that. If y'all are real friends, I can get it. But Angel, I'm going to be real. Baby, I'm going to call everybody name. Angel, I'm going to be real with you. The way that Kay first showed up with the season with you, she wasn't rocking with you like that hard. So I don't know why you are so, like, you are riding too heavy for her, girl. Like, I really feel like that's truly what your issue is when it comes to Wendy, because y'all didn't have an issue. Like, the way it started, like, you were even on Wendy's side when it came to the situation with the whole, like, her child being sick in the beginning. So what's really your issue, girl? Like, Angel, girl, you doing way too much, baby. You are doing way too much. And you falling flat. You just want to have an issue with Wendy for some reason, and girl, on to the next thing. You just are not, you are missing the mark this season. Now, the mid-season trailer pop, you look like you're going to give us a little bit more, hopefully so, because I think that you're a sweet girl. You're beautiful. You have the money. You have the access. You have all of the things in the making of an amazing housewife. And honestly, you are. I just think that maybe you and Kay can't do it at the same time. Like, maybe that's what it is. But girl, yeah, it's definitely not it. So, you know, Wendy tells her she falls flat. She was like, bye, girl. And Wendy was like, you just acting like we want you here, girl. We don't want you here. Walk off. So after that, Kay and Stacey get into it again. And it's like, Kay, you keep jumping in this ring with Stacey and you cannot. Baby, Stacey is Muhammad Ali. And you are an infant. You cannot handle the baby. It is like Muhammad Ali getting in the ring with a kindergartner. You cannot handle that, girl. You need to stay in your lane. Stay on the playground, girl. You're not ready for Miss Stacey. So you get over there with your rehearsed read. My life, my finances, my this, my that, my hat in the pack. Baby, you was catting and hatting it down. Baby, you was scatting, taking a bath, all of that good stuff. You had it going on and not in the right way. You know the thing when it comes to Kay and Angel to me. I feel like they be at the house watching this like, ate that. No. Do y'all eat the looks? Are y'all beautiful? Yes. This is not a looks competition. This is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about looks. We're talking about the way y'all are coming on this season. Y'all are moving so weird, and it's like I don't know what playbook you picked up when it came to the Real Housewives. I don't know whose book you picked up, but you did not pick up the right one. I think that you took certain chapters out of certain people's, and you should have read from start to finish, from cover to end, baby, because you are not hitting the mark. That was so weird. And then you was like, talking about Stacey Ring, talking about the diamond was cloudy, and Stacey was like, whether it's cloudy or not, it looks better than the one that you don't have. The lady still ate you up, girl. You talking about a diamond ring on her finger from a man that she got, and you don't even got one. You don't. You don't even live with the man no more. You have a condo that you paying on your own for right now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, girl, Kay, you do it to yourself. You make yourself get on this TV and look a fool in more ways than one. And we definitely gonna talk about that too. But Stacey definitely takes the... She got the heavyweight champ when it comes to y'all arguing. She got the belt for that, baby. Kay, you're not ready for Stacey. Just go ahead and move on. So, oh no, wait. So Stacey is over and she leaves, right? So she feels like she's not welcome. She leaves and she's over at the elevator and, you know, she's talking to Jazzy, she's talking to Wendy, and Gizelle walks up and Gizelle was like, oh, if you leaving, just go ahead and go, like, bye. Gizelle, I will say, I did think that was a little mean. I did think that was a little mean and a little out of place. And I think you could have been a little nicer because it was your event. It was a successful event. And I understand, like, the drama was around Stacey, but Stacey wasn't the only one that was contributing to that. Like, a lot of the other ladies heightened it a little bit more. Like, Stacey's not that rah-rah type of person. So I think that, Gizelle, you gave Stacey a little bit too much. And I really want Gizelle and Stacey to figure it out because I really feel like they would have fun. And I like when Gizelle is fun shady with Stacey, but when it gets a little nasty like that, I didn't care for that. Well, I'm gonna say not nasty. It just wasn't the nicest that Gizelle has been to Stacey. She been mean to Stacey this whole time. What am I sitting here talking about? Child, let me move on to the next thing. I don't even know what I'm saying over here at this point. So, okay. So we see Stacey making pizza with her family, and it was really, really cute scene to see. It's good to see that they are moving forward with them being together. You know, they're not living together right now, but it's good to see that they're doing things together as a family. Clearly, the girl knew that they were dating, so I'm glad that they ain't even try to make it seem like she don't know. Girl, that child knew. And it was cute when Stacey, the girl, was like, "Oh, Mama, I love your gummy bear line." That was real funny to me too. So that was super cute. But it's good to see them working it out and for them to be in a better place. It's good to see. Nothing more, nothing less there. So we pull up to Ashley's house and we see our girl. We see her mama pulling up in that good wig, baby. You know her mama keeps a good wig. So she's coming by and, you know, they're catching up. And so Ashley's mom is asking her about, what is her mama name? Dog, it slipped my mind. Anyway, so her and her mom are having a conversation and she's asking her about Josh, the dude she was dating. And essentially, Ashley is done with him. I think that we all kind of saw that. We all kind of knew that was not going to last because, Ashley, you tend to like an older man and he was younger than you. And he's younger than you. He doesn't have kids. He probably wants more. He probably wants kids at some point. You have to, and I don't think that you want more kids, so I don't think that y'all were equally yoked in that manner anyway. So it's good to see that y'all are done with each other. And, you know, you say you talked to Uncle Lump about it, and he gave you some good advice. Like, Josh is a good guy. He's just not a good guy for you. And this kind of puts you in the mindset of thinking about your mom and her situation with her partner that she's with. And, Ashley, I'm going to say this to you. I know it's difficult. Trust me, I understand it is hard. You cannot make the decisions for your parents. You have to let your mama do that on her own. If your mama want to be with him, as hard as it is, you're gonna have to let her figure that out. You gonna have to, and if it hurts you, you gonna have to love her from afar. But I want you to do the stuff for you to heal in that situation because she's gonna do what she want to do, baby. She is grown. I understand you have a younger sister and younger siblings that you're worried about. But mama got to make sure she good. Like, you can't want it more for her. I understand. But until she is fully ready to be out of that situation, you're going to have to just let her do what it do. Now, if you are helping her with certain things, that's maybe a different story. But you going to have to find some peace and understanding of just knowing that your mama going to do what she want to do. She love that man. It ain't the best situation for her to be in. But just let your mama be. I'm going to just leave it there. So... after that scene, we see Wendy and Stacey meeting up at Jazzy's place. And then it was kind of a split scene there. So we see Wendy and Jazzy meeting up at Stacey's place. And then we see all of the other ladies going over to Angela's spot. Not Angela, Angel's spot. And so I really like the way that they did the scene, right? So they are basically, they broke it up between the two scenes, but they kind of sliced it together. So I'm going to do my best to kind of like talk about one and then talk about the other. So, you know, we're going to start with the Stacey side first. So Stacey was kind of wanting the ladies to break down like, hey, what happened after I left at the Reasonably Shady event? They said, no, baby, let's talk about what happened while you was there. Because, girl, you had a lot of smoke coming your way. You handled yourself well, but like, what's going on? And I love how Stacey's like, look, I don't know what Kay's issue is with me, but it seems like every time we get together, she is coming for me. And I just don't understand what it is. Like, why does Kay always have the smoke for me? And, you know, Kay is kind of having the same feelings. So she's feeling like Stacey is always coming for her. Like, Stacey always has smoke for her every time that they come together. And I'm going to say this. Kay, a lot of times when it comes to Stacey, you start it. You do start it when it comes to Stacey. Stacey don't be honest about a lot of stuff, but you ain't got to call it out all the time. Like, let the lady be, or just let the cookies crumble. Let the chips fall where they fall, and let the lady be what she gonna be. We already know Stacey is a hoot and a half. Let the baby be what she gonna be, girl. And you just need to let it be. We know she ain't all the way honest, but do we care? No. We like Stacey. Baby, we like Stacey in them earrings, girl. We like her. So, doggone, I messed up my notes. Hold on, y'all. So, when it comes to that, Wendy made a great point when it comes to Stacey. She was like, listen, Stacey and Kay, Stacey, you are Kay's favorite toy in the toolbox. Like, every time we get together, she gonna play with you, girl, because you are her favorite. And I think that Kay likes going back and forth with Stacey, but she just can't handle it, you know, but whatever. So, Giselle thinks that it's messed up that, you know, Monique poured her heart out to everybody. She opened up because that's not who Monique was before she left. And she let people in on her marriage and why she left her husband. And for that information to get back to her ex-husband about what she said when she was just being honest and sharing, you know, she just feels like that's messed up. And, you know, Tia's asking Ashley, she's like, listen, have you talked to Monique about what happened? And she's like, no. But I do want Monique and, you know, Monique and Kay and Stacey, I want all us to get together to have a dinner so we can rehash what happened. I think that's a great idea. Ashley's like, look, either she gonna be mad or she gonna be cool. Either way, my friend needs to know and she needs to hear it from these people. And I think that that's a great thing for them to do. And you know, Wendy also thinks that Stacey just needs to sit down and have a conversation with with Monique to just make sure that they cool. Like, girl, it's not that deep. I feel like y'all just need to have a conversation to make sure that y'all are good so that y'all can move forward. Because Monique is a cool girl. She's been real cool this season. Ain't nothing the conversation can't fix. So Stacey is cool with that, but she has no desire to have a conversation with Kay at all, which we can respect. I can respect that, girl, because y'all keep getting into it and we don't need no more of that. So speaking of Kay, you know, Kay invites her mom and her when I tell you that girl brother's so fine. Kay's family is beautiful. Like, and they get it from their mother. Their mother is gorgeous. Like, beautiful woman. But that brother fine. But they meet up at Greg's house. And I'm going to say it's Greg's house until Kay name on the deed. So they meet up at Greg's house. And, you know, she's telling her family, you know, me and Greg, we're in a good spot. And he wants me to move back in with him. And he wants to buy the condo for me. Child. I'm with her mama. Why? You left this man and you went into your own space for a reason. We need to figure this out. And I understand that you like, the ring will come. Kay, that seems like it is something that's really important to you. And if it is, you need to prioritize your feelings as well. Because I feel like you are prioritizing his a lot and you ain't putting yourself first. Like, you are prioritizing yourself a lot when it comes to that situation, girl. And it's not necessary. You are too beautiful of a woman to be sitting up there putting up with that man mess. I'm just saying. Way too beautiful for that. I think that you can do better. But you know what? If you like it, I love it. If you like it, I love it. And I'm going to support you. But I'm in full agreement with your mama. girl, what a ring at? We need to get some form of commitment. Yeah, he can buy the condo, but then what? Then what? If you are comfortable with where you are, then that's fine. But stop bringing other people into it and trying to convince them that this is a great situation, because it really ain't. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to convince us that it's great. You're trying to convince us. Really what it is, you want to have a conversation with us about it and make it seem like it's great, and you just want us to give you the go-ahead to go ahead and be down with it. Girl, we not. We not. So you can leave that man alone. I'm agreeing with your mama. So speaking of mamas, we pulling up to Wendy house. You know, her and her sister are having a conversation before the mama gets there. And I like Wendy's sister. She seems pretty cool. But, you know, they're talking about their dad. And it kind of starts from Wendy talking about, you know, hey, you know, girl, you know, dad did not call me on my birthday. And they talk about when they took a trip to Nigeria for a couple of months. And he was just so sick that he couldn't come and see them. And, you know, Wendy said that it hurt her. And her sisters was like, girl, he is what he's going to be. He has his life. I ain't seen him. We ain't seen him in 20 years plus years. Girl, we good. Like, we are raised. We have had a phenomenal mother that has poured into us. We good. We don't need none of that no more. So I think that both of them are approaching it from different perspectives. Like, her sister's like, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm successful. I don't need nothing from him. And I think that Wendy, she doesn't need the validation. She just misses her father. And I think that she just wants that relationship. And it's important to her. So, Wendy, I don't feel like you will ever get it, but if that's what you want, I do hope that you can get there. But I do think her sister gave her some really good advice when it came to that. And you know, her mama come in, baby. That mama scares me. I ain't here to talk about people mamas. I ain't finna give you, I know, Dr. Heavenly moment, but something about her just scared me. But I ain't talking about her. She seemed like a lovely lady. But yeah, she scares me. But she said, baby, you know, he wasn't there for y'all. It's fine. You know, he could have 50, 11 children, but he'll never have another Wendy. He'll never have another whatever the sister name is. But the mama said that's all right, because the cut that y'all would have gave him, you can give it to me. She said, I'm going to spend up all y'all good money. And Wendy said, well, speaking of spending the money, let me show you what we done did with the house. Now, whoever that little contractor lady was, she shaded the mess out of Wendy talking about some, well, is it in the budget for y'all to get another light? See, that lady knew something. That lady knew something, and that sister and that mama called it. That sister and mama said, hold on. This lady, she know our business. She know what's going on up in here allegedly. And that lady called. That lady said, can you afford another one of these? Is it in the budget? And they said, oh, Wendy can afford it. Oh, we sure she can. We sure Wendy can afford it. Allegedly. We're gonna get into that, Wendy, because something tells me by the end of this season, the fish is going to stink. They said the fish stink from the head to the tail. And I know it's going to be funky around there, because we're going to get into that. All right. Hold on, wait. When I done 10 million events. Okay, I done talked about that already. Hold on, y'all. I done did this new update on my phone, and child, it is doing too much. It's moving stuff all around. All right, we done talked about K Fine, brother. All right, we done talked about Wendy, B-Day and all of that, and her mama, who be scaring me. All right, so we down back. We talked about Wendy budget, allegedly. All right, so Ashley meeting up with Kay, Monique, and Wendy, and Stacey for dinner. All the ladies is meeting up. Now, you know, Kay and Ashley meet up first, and Kay's just kind of like, girl, how your friend gonna feel about it? And she's like, you know, I don't know. We're gonna see how she feel about it, but we just need to have a conversation. And hopefully Stacey can own her part. So, you know, when Monique gets there, you know, she got on her essential oils, you know, to battle the people and the spirits. And Kay said, girl, give me some of that to calm me down, because, you know, Kay be ready to rock and roll. She be ready to rumble. She be ready to flip her hair back and forth. And Monique said, girl, take some of this oil, because you need to calm down. And I'm glad that she gave her some of that blessed oil so she can calm down. And she prayed over it, the shamans and all of them. So while she did, after she put the oil on, you know, we see Wendy coming in. And they sitting there talking, and Wendy's even catching her up like, girl, look. Sharice called him, and Monique like, Sharice, like, why are all these other people in this? Like, why these people keep getting in it? And I'm going to say this about Monique. I loved the way Monique handled that situation. When I tell you that is such an art form that a lot of people can take from it, like when they were talking to her, I think that they were expecting her to like really have a lot of smoke for Stacey. And she was just like, well, I'm going to be real with you. When you dealing with people that are liars, that possibly could be not being honest themselves, Stacey could have taken the information back to them the way that it was intended. Chris could have took the situation, manipulated, and then when you add Cookie on top of it, baby. First of all, if you got big old bosoms like that, and you got nails and stuff like that, your name don't need to be Cookie no more. It need to be oatmeal pie, honey. Because you got it going on. So anyway, back to Miss Oatmeal Pie. When you get to the people, when they get the lion, she said these people could be lions, tigers, and bears. And she said you can't trust none of them because they'll claw you up in a minute. I'm with Monique on that. But I love the way that she took a positive approach to it, to be like, maybe Stacey did, maybe she didn't. But I know these other two, they don't be too honest all the time. So I don't know. I'm open to seeing what this lady got to say. And speaking of that, when Stacey arrives and Monique was like, she gets them, she was like, hey, look, I'm here for peace. I'm here for healing. Let's talk. Let's hug it out. And let's sit down and have a conversation. I love that Monique did that because you can tell that she's in a better place to be able to handle it. The lady was like, look, I done been there. I done done it. I done wrote the play for it. The lady could date the man. I don't care. My issue is I just don't want nobody talking about me or being in my space and taking the information or things that I say back to him. She letting it know it's already hard enough to co-parent with him. I don't need any extra added stress to that already fractured situation. And I respect that. So, Stacey sits down, Wendy lets it be known, hey, Kay, she didn't want to have a conversation with you. Ashley, she don't really want to have a conversation with you. And Monique is like, look, what I don't want to happen is this back and forth for everybody to keep taking back different bones and all of that. And, Kay gets up and she leaves, the conversation. So, when they start having the conversation, Monique just kind of wants to know, are you associated with him? Are you fooling around my ex? Whatever is going on, because me and you don't need to be in the same space, depending on how close you are with him. And Stacey says that she didn't date him. This is what I would say about that. The thing is with Stacey, it's like, it's so hard to know if she's being honest or not. Because when she sat down with Ashley, she was like, they were like, did you date him? And she was like, have me and him hung out? Have we hung out together? Yes. So it's like, you answer the question, but did you answer the question? Like, that can always come back and be like, well, my interpretation of that was X, Y, and Z instead of, no, I didn't just date him. So it's really weird. And, when she was reading the text messages and she made it seem, or from her text message thread, it was that he was just replying to her messaging her and she wasn't replying. But also, too, I'm like, wait, how did he get your number? Like, so did y'all have conversations? Like, what's going on there? It seemed a bit weird. But hey, we don't know. I will never know what really, really went on between them two. Because I don't see Chris coming on the show and spilling the tea. That he don't really give me that type of dude anyway. So I don't know. Do I think that Stacey went back and told Chris the information? Maybe. But from some of the conversation that Stacey was having with him, it seems like he had information prior to Stacey meeting Monique anyway. So it seems like there could possibly be a mole in a group with the information being brought back. And I love when Wendy was like, look, I love when Wendy has said, y'all, my notes keep moving and it's so annoying. But I love when Wendy was like, I'm going to put on my detective hat to figure out who said this. And she was going down the list. She said it could be Kay, because Kay and Cookie are real cool. And she's just super, super invested in the situation. She said it could be Angel. Angel knew Chris for her husband. So maybe it could have been some information that got back that way. Then she's sitting here saying, you know what? It could be Gizelle, because Gizelle let a mess. She said, but we ain't going to count out Miss Stacey, because Stacey has lied once. She'll lie again, and we know she's going to lie in the future. So Wendy is not counting out nobody. And I'm not either. I don't really see it being Gizelle. I don't know about Angel. And Kay, if Kay did that, she really, really went out of her way to do that, and that's super weird. But yeah, my money is on Stacey, to be real. But I don't know if Stacey took it back in a negative way. We just don't know. And speaking of Kay, she's at the bar, she crying, and Ashley gonna check on her, and child, that don't really go nowhere. She just saying she over the situation. Girl, us too. But I love the fact that Monique is open to having a friendship with Stacey. She's open to moving forward with Stacey, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of who actually put their hand in the cookie jar. We definitely gonna get into that, baby. And y'all let me know who you think. Who do you think spilled the tea? Who got the tea to Chris or whatever it was? Let me know. If you think it was Stacey, let me know. If you think it was Kay or whoever, put it in the chat and let me know what y'all thinking. But y'all, that's what we're gonna end the review here. Married to Medicine dropped Sunday night as well, so we're definitely gonna get into that. Won't post that tonight because it's super late, but we'll post that tomorrow. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see y'all later. Have a good one, everybody.